This person in front of me, I would say, is one of the women that I take as an example. How a modern woman can build her life, be happy, successful, and independent. It's the first person from Ukraine.
We were born in a very, very poor family. Since everyone was telling me that I should try modeling because I'm tall, I was like, okay, let's try it. And that's how my modeling career started at 15 years old. Just because I wanted to prove myself that I'm worth something. I was one of the top models in Ukraine at the time. I lived in Paris and I just saw that I can live differently.
Modeling business is harsh and it can break you.
For me, it was okay not to eat for a couple of days just in order to be more skinny. Oh, you know, you're so beautiful, you have to marry the millionaire and be like the millionaire wife. Then I met my husband and I realized that for me, what works is a partnership. We began from zero and now we have like 60 models on the board. We are managing our own modeling company. I always knew I'm gonna find my love. I don't know how, but I always knew.
There was no open war in Ukraine, but then it started and you both were living in Kiev. And I guess it made you a slightly different person.
Not slightly, but like a total different person. It would sound weird, but thanks to the war, I know and I appreciate and I love with all my heart every fucking day of my life. Feeling that you can die like now or in 1 hour, everything changes after.
Hi, hello, and welcome to the new episode of the Butterfly Effect podcast. Today I have extremely special guest in my studio because this woman I know my whole life. No jokes, my whole life. With this person, we've been raised together in the same environment back in Ukraine, in Kiev. That's the first person from Ukraine. And today we will be discussing a topic that really resonates with me deeply because in the life, in the world right now, and so many people is confused about this whole topic. What is the modern family? What is the modern woman? How she needs to look, what she needs to do. This person in front of me, I would say, is one of the women that I take as an example of how a modern woman can build her life, be happy, successful, independent. And today we will be discussing it with a person who throughout one life been, and already still, a professional model for 15 years, also right now the owner of the model studio for 5 years, and the mother of a beautiful 1-year-old son. So hi and welcome, Ola. I'm very happy to see you here today.
Hi Rita, I'm very, very happy and thank you for inviting me. It means really a lot.
You said your little dream is coming to life right now.
Yes, actually I was dreaming about someone taking an interview with me, but today is my really step out of my comfort zone because we're doing it in English. It's my first time speaking out loud in English, so let's do it.
Well, you'll be doing great. So first of all, tell me and tell us, our viewers, who are you? What is your story?
First of all, I am a woman, then I'm a wife, I'm a mother, then I'm an entrepreneur, and then I'm a model. But I began my career as a successful model. I've been doing modeling for half of my life. I'm 32 years old now, and I started modeling when I was 15, and it really influenced a lot my whole way in my whole life. It gave me a lot of opportunities, and I can really say that I'm grateful for my job for giving me this opportunity to live the life I have now, because everything actually started from that.
So why did you start a modeling career? And can you tell us also how it feels to start modeling when you're 15 years old? You have seen nothing in your life and you're here in this, in Paris and Milan and fashion week stuff. It's a dream of so many girls, but what is the reality of that?
Well, you know where we are coming from because we lived in the same even house because our moms were friends. And so we were born in a very, very poor families. I have to say that we were really tight on the budget, but we were loved. And I remember my childhood as a very happy childhood, despite that we really didn't have money. I remember my mom was choosing between to buy like the half of the loaf or a bun to feed us. And I'm really grateful to my parents that they really gave me a lot to make this life be better for me than it was for them. And why I decided to be a model, it's first of all because I was always the tallest and the skinniest one at school, and it brought me a lot of problems actually because I had a few friends, not friends, but I had a classmates that were bullying me, that were mocking at me because I was different from others. I was also studying a lot. I was one of a kind who was succeeding in everything, like the best grades, the best Olympic sports, like exams, everything was about me. Like I was, how do you say it? The syndrome of a good girl?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It sounds like a proper good girl.
Yes, yes. I wanted to be the best in every topic I was doing. But then I fell in love when I was 15. It was my first big love. But I thought that I'm not good enough for that classmate. It was my classmate. And since everyone was telling me that I should try modeling because I'm tall, I was like, okay, let's try it. And at that time, I went to Kiev to the modeling school, and it costed a lot. It costed $400. And I was begging my parents to give me that money because it was really, really a lot for them. And I'm still grateful to them that they found it somewhere, somehow. I don't know how. And that's how my modeling career started at 15 years old. So that was just because I wanted to prove myself that I'm worth something. I think this is the very popular problem, like very popular mindset of people of our generation, of people who were raised in 90s, because obviously our country was so poor and so changing at the time after the Soviet Union didn't exist anymore. And yes, I just wanted to be independent from my parents, and I always wanted to succeed something more. I realized that I need more money to have those things that I want to have. And yes, it was my motivation at that time then. And at 16, it was already the first time when I went for the modeling contract to Japan. My mom was so angry and anxious. I think that my anxiety that I have right now, it's a lot of from my mother, because my mom was and is really, really anxious person. Even though I have a kid now, sometimes I call her and she's like, "Oh, don't put him there. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do that." I'm like, "Mom, I'm adult now. I can do it by my own. Don't worry about that me anymore." So yes, she didn't want me to go abroad, but it was my father who told her, like, "Listen, she must try. She's a smart girl. She can do this." And that's how I started my modeling career abroad, and it brought me really, really a lot of good things. I was one of the top models in Ukraine at the time. I lived in New York, I lived in Paris, and seeing the different mentality of people, seeing the different culture, it really made a lot of impact on my mindset as well. I just saw that I can live differently. I can live differently from the life I saw in Ukraine, of my childhood, of my little town, of people I was surrounded by.
And how your good girl changed when you started your career.
It was with me, along with me for some time, of course, but when I was 20 with something, I just realized that my anxiety really influences my decisions in life, and I really didn't like it. I still didn't have enough money to go on therapy, and at that time, we didn't have it so popular to go on therapy to have your issues in brain solved. So I just started to read a lot of books about psychology, about how our brain works, how anxiety can be fixed actually. And it really helped me to understand that it's not really necessary that I live with this anxiety anymore, that she tells me what to do, that I can actually decide and to change my patterns to act differently. So everything started from realizing that something is, I wouldn't say wrong with me. It's not wrong. It's part of my mindset. It's okay. People are born with two types of nervous system. Ones are very stable, very quiet, very peaceful, as my husband, for example. Like nothing can make him nervous in this world. And another part of people is like me. It's the people who control everything, who are anxious, who are worrying about the future. But the main thing is to realize that you can do differently, and then you wake up and understand that yes, you still have these anxious thoughts in your head, but you are able to control them, to ignore them, and to not to do what they want you to do.
Yeah, well, that's a journey with your anxiety. We're also going to be talking how your anxiety changed throughout the years, throughout all the challenges that you faced. Coming back to the modeling career. So you've been in many countries in the photo shoots, the fashion weeks and everything. And now you're also managing the models who's right now also 15, 16 years old,
Exactly.
very young girls. How do you think, what's the most challenging for young people to start the modeling career? What's the most challenging maybe for the mind as well?
hmm That's a good question, and I know the exact answer because the most challenging part is taking responsibility. And the young people, especially teenagers, they don't know yet what is responsibility. And majority of models fail just because they take this opportunity not as a job where they have to be someone to do something to improve their skills, etc. They just pretend it's a game where everyone except them has to do something. I mean, for example, we have like 18 years old girl, and she wants to be a model, and she has a nice appearance for modeling, but she doesn't want to maintain the waist because all we know all, and it's still on that you have to have like special measurements in order to be a model. That's a rule and you cannot avoid it. She doesn't want to learn language, for example, because you really need to know English nowadays in order to talk to people, please, and because you're traveling a lot. So they just don't want to put enough efforts in themselves to do something. That's what I say, take responsibility, because everyone in this job is doing their part. For example, me as a manager, as an agent, my job is to support them, to guide them, to tell them what to do, when to do, and I don't know, I'm like a mother for them at some point, like professional mother, but their job is not to be only beautiful. Their job is to improve their skills, to read books, to the majority of models, they cannot answer the simple question, what are your hobbies? You know what I mean? They just are so focused on the outside beauty of themselves that it really they cannot see any other possibilities to improve, and that's a big problem because modeling business today is a very very harsh business, especially for the mindset of the teenagers, and it can break you in seconds, in months, and then you're gonna be depressed, uh, wanting to quit modeling in 1 year after you started. So you have to be strong and to know that you have to hustle. At the beginning, we all have to work a lot in order to succeed something. And teenagers, and I don't know, it's not about only models. I think it's about the nowadays generation in general, that people nowadays don't want to work hard. They want to find like the easiest way to succeed something, but it's not that it works like 100%. It's a luck that it's a chance. It's a very good chance if you succeed something in a very fast and short way. Normally it takes like months, years to build something very good, especially in modeling career, and you cannot give up just because you had a very bad one contract. You have to try more and more and more, and the generation nowadays I feel like they don't want to try more if they fail at once, and that's a big problem, because then I have to tell them, no, it doesn't work like that. Because if you failed now, it doesn't mean that you're gonna fail again, and if you're gonna fail again, it's okay. We need to try more and more and more, and the people who try more and who stay and improve themselves, they succeed and they work well afterwards.
You said that modeling business is harsh and it can break you. How exactly is this breaking part happening?
For example, you are from the very small city, very beautiful, and everyone tells you that you next Victoria's Secret model. And then you go to the modeling agency, and then you travel abroad for your first modeling contract. And suddenly you see that there are hundreds like you, very beautiful and very Victoria's Secret looking. And you're like, I was not ready for that. I came here. I thought that I'm going to be a star just like that, just because I am who I am. And that breaks mindset because when you see the concurrency, when you see a lot of girls who are just like you, and some of them have more skills like you, and some of them are more beautiful like you start comparing yourself to them. You start to find more problems in yourself, because it works like psychologically. If you see the person who lives with you in the model apartment, because there is a model apartment where you live together with other girls who are also models. You comparing yourself to them like 24 hours per day, and it really takes a bad impact on your mindset, on your brain, because you start to self-esteem yourself a bit less, and then you can end up with depression or eating disorder, which is really popular problem still. So to be a model, you have to be strong inside, know how to not compare yourself to others, because it's gonna break your how do you say psychica?
Mental health.
It's gonna break your mental health.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you went through something like this?
At the time, I think I had an eating disorder, but 10 years ago, we didn't talk about that as much as we do nowadays. So I probably didn't know I have it. For me, it was okay not to eat for a couple of days just in order to be more skinny. I didn't see it as a huge problem. I saw it as like, okay, I must be more skinny. I'm gonna do it because I know that I want this job and I'm gonna get it. It worked like this for me. I also I always compare modeling to medical university, because nowadays, for example, a lot of models tell me that they know they don't want to be more skinny because it's gonna impact their mental health. But I always tell them that, okay, look, there are medical students who want to be doctors, and they spent 10 years in the medical university studying way more than other professions just because they want to be a good doctor. There are actors who gain like 10 or 20 kilos for the role just because they really want this role, because they are professionals. And then they don't say to the producers that, I'm not going to gain this 10 kilos just because, it's going to impact my mental health. Because they want something, they know that they have to sacrifice something. In our case, in modeling, sometimes you sacrifice food. I don't see the problem with that, just because I know that it's a part of our job. It's a harsh part of our job, but if you want to succeed and if you have problems with measurements, sometimes it's okay for me not to eat less. Okay, I'm not talking about to not eat at all, but to eat less, just because you know that you have this important job and you have to look like 200% out of 100. For majority of models now, it's a problem. And these models at the end, they don't last long in the business because they don't want to sacrifice their mental health for this. And I understand them, I respect this, but it just means that this business is not for them.
Yeah. I think it's a very controversial opinion, because from every YouTube channel right
I
now, from
know.
every reels, we hear you have to love yourself, you have to be gentle to
Yes.
yourself, you're the flower, and let the world just spin around you and make things that you want possible just because you are who you are. And it's a nice thoughts to think about. It's a really good, the vision of life, really, to have a nice life, a chill life. But reality is
It's not like
different
that.
very often,
Yes.
especially if your starting point is pretty low.
Yes,
Like if you're
of
from the
course.
broke family, if you don't speak the language, if you're not exceptional.
Mhm.
If you're not exceptional, no
Yes.
one will make exceptions
Yes.
for you. And you will have to
Correct.
compete, as you said, with hundreds of people like you.
Exactly. Like you have to sacrifice something in order to succeed something. That's the rule. It doesn't work in any other way. Unless you're from like a very, very wealthy family that can help you to have a good start.
Yeah, like
But
a Nepo baby. Your first
exactly.
modeling walking can be on like Prada or something.
Exactly. If you're not a Nepo baby, you have to hustle a little bit, especially at the beginning, so the world can see you. Because otherwise, no one needs to see who you are, just like who you are. You have to work on yourself a little bit. And I'm not even talking about eating less. I'm talking about your skills, your intelligence, your hobbies. You have to know how to answer the question, what are your hobbies, at least? At least this is the minimum that
The
you
bare
have to
minimum
know.
of
The
being-
very minimum. Yes, exactly.
Love it. And you said that you have to sacrifice in order to be successful. What is being successful? What kind of success you gained during your career? I mean, your career is not finished yet, but still, like there was a peak, I guess, already.
Yeah.
And what was this peak? How it looked? Was it worth it? the sacrifice that she gave?
In a matter of money, of course, it was it because it was the very first goal of modeling to be independent financially from my parents, from anyone else in this world, and I succeeded. I had a lot of it brought me a lot of money, enough to buy an apartment in Kiev, enough to provide for myself, for my family for a long time. So I was really, really happy about it. Another part is that this feeling of fame when you're walking into the bookshop and the seller is saying, "Ah, I saw you on the cover of the magazine." And it was like a really, really pleasant moment for me because that means that, okay, people know about me right now. And I really, really enjoyed it at that moment. But then I grew up, I was growing up, and at some point, maybe around 24, 25 years old, I just realized that I outgrew my modeling career, that it's not as interesting and as exciting as it was at the beginning. So I just started to think about like having family and to switch my skills into something else because it became boring for me. And once it's something is becoming boring for me, I'm not into it, I'm less motivated, I don't do it really well. So at that point, I met my future husband. So, I can say it was a fate, it was the stars, which changed my life at that point, at exactly right point. Because, if I would met my husband like few years before I actually met him, it wouldn't work.
You were still in the hustling mode.
Yes,
Not ready to settle.
same as him, actually. So we met really, really in a good point of our lives where I was ready for something else and he was ready for something serious. So I met my husband, who at that time was already an agent, a model agent, and he just told me, "Okay, let's create a modeling agency. Let's make you an agent. So you're gonna work from home." And I really like this idea because when I started modeling, I actually had this dream that one day I'm going to become a mama boss and I'm going to have my agency with a lot of models. So I can say that my dream came true. But I didn't know that my husband will help me to make this dream true. So since 5 years, we are managing our own modeling company. It became really. It's not like super super successful. We have, still have the way to go, but I can say that I'm proud of what we do, and we grew a lot for this past 5 years. We began from zero, and now we have like 60 models on the board, which is a lot, and I'm proud that we give this opportunity to other younger girls to see the world, to see how it can be, and to use this opportunity to improve their own lives. Because I think modeling is not the final goal, it's an instrument to reach your other goals by meeting new people, by seeing other cultures, by traveling around the world.
Yeah. So because you were and you're still a model, is there any specific thing that is different in your modeling agency that any other agency?
I think it is because our first and the most important rule is to be kind and to be very tolerant and loyal to our models because there are still a lot of agencies who bull their models. Okay, we were talking about gaining or losing weight, but we talk it in a nice way and we try to educate models about nutritiology, about the sports, about different kind of style of living in order to reach the goals of
Like
maintaining the
sometimes
body.
to lose the weight, you don't have to just quit all the food,
Of
but
course.
just quit the burgers.
Yes,
And start
yes.
to do Pilates.
Or just going to the gym like
Yeah.
not one time but 3 times per week, and it really it really works. So we are like friends to our models. We built a team. We always say that we are a team, and if you go to our modeling Instagram, the name of our agency is Modern People. You're gonna see in the profile, how do you say it? Shop bio that we really take care about models, and you will like the way that we take care about you. So this is our mantra, and this is the main principle we are approaching with to our models, that they feel safe with us. They want to improve not because they're afraid of us as directors, but because we are friends and we are there to support them and to guide them wherever they need this.
Love it. I also like the idea that you wanted to be a mama boss, a girl boss, but
Yes.
on some point when a man offered you help and offered you the idea, you didn't say, I'm going to do everything on my own because I'm a girl boss. So I'm
No, no,
100%
I did actually.
independent.
At the beginning, I was like that.
Okay,
Like,
then you're real girl
yes,
boss.
I became softer thanks to my husband because when we met each other, he used to open the door for me, and I was like, why you do this? I can open the door for me by myself. When he used to I don't know, offer me something like, or even pay the bill at the restaurant, I was the one who said, I'm gonna pay by myself.
You're destroying the whole Slavic girl like cliche
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. He healed me in some way because I don't think that independence, like all by myself, it was really healthy in me. It was it was the response to this world that I am strong, I can do all by myself, but it's not that necessary for me anymore to do everything by myself because I have my husband. He's my home, he's my main support. I love you. And I'm really grateful to him, to a lot of things that happened to my life, because my healing actually started when I met him, and I don't think that it's not connected. I think it's really connected to each other. That I found my healing relationship where I finally can be that. I'm still a boss, but I'm a soft boss. I don't have to prove myself that I'm worth something anymore because I know that I'm worth a lot and I love myself. And it didn't happen in one day. I needed a lot of time to realize that I don't need to hustle anymore.
How has this transformation been happening? Because again, the main question is that we had before a very specific roles, especially in Slavic countries. We have very specific roles. What is
Yeah.
the woman? What is the wife? What is the man? What is the husband? What is the responsibilities? How they supposed to perform these responsibilities? And everything that was out of this role was considering being weird. And our generation is trying to develop something different, some new schemes where both of the people in the marriage can be still independent, can still, mm, connect on a different level and go outside of these roles and just develop their different parts of their
Exactly.
personality.
Hmm.
So for you, specifically, as you were like super independent girl boss before, and then you started this healing journey with your husband, how exactly this was happening? What was your idea of you in the relationship before and how it transformed?
Hmm. My idea being in the relationship before was coming from affirmations of my mom, I would say, because she was always the one who would say, oh, you're so beautiful. You have to marry the millionaire and be like the millionaire wife. And I really believed in that bad thought at the time. But then, with the time, when I started to have my own money, when I started to gain my mindset independence, I realized that it's not for me. I tried it, it didn't work, it didn't fulfill me. And then I met my husband, and I realized that for me, what works is a partnership. It's always 50-50. Sometimes it's 51-49. Sometimes it's 80-20. Depends on the mood, on the opportunities, possibilities, like some period of time. But it's always a partnership. That means I take responsibility for my relationship. I'm not the one who is saying, oh, my man is going to do everything for me. I'm just beautiful next to him. I inspire him and don't do anything. My man didn't have anything when he met me. Like, he was at the beginning of his career, but it didn't really mean anything to me at that time, because at that time I already knew that we're gonna make it together, and we made it
You
together,
saw the
and we're still
potential.
making it. Yes, I
Women
saw.
also see the potential.
Yes. You know how we say it in our country. Я увидела генерала в своем этом офицере. Я вырастила генерала. Yes, I saw a potential in my husband, and I wasn't wrong. He proved himself. And yes, we are doing everything together, and that's what works to me. But I know that there are a lot of women who don't work, who just stay at home with kids. For me, it's not enough. For me, I have to be someone else except to be wife and mother, because I feel like I have something else to do in this life. and it's not enough for me to just spend the time with the kid and to be a wife. Apart from this, I'm a woman who has its own hobbies, who needs some time for herself, and is still, I think, figuring out what she wants to do else in life. Because for now, for the moment, I don't do a lot in our company because it works on itself. That happened after I gave birth to our son, and I obviously didn't have enough resource and time to put into the agency. So my husband overtook everything instead of me, and I'm grateful to him. And now I feel like I want to do something else in my life, but I haven't figured out what exactly. But this thing, and the main thing is, it doesn't make me anxious because I'm safe. I know I'm safe and I'm loved, and everything's gonna be fine. And it makes me actually excited to know what I'm gonna do next in my life.
And I think that sounds like a very different way of soft girl bossy kind of structure because I'm still deciding for my own life. I'm still can make decisions fairly independently, but
Ex-
I feel like I have this support. I
Exactly.
have people behind me who will catch
Exactly.
me if I fall, and
Yes.
that gives me wings.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I
Exactly.
everyone is talking about this like 50-50, 50-50. I've been hearing this so much, especially, dating European,
Oh yeah.
just being surrounded by people from different countries. But how do you like the idea of 100-100? Why wouldn't we just give 100 of what we have into relationship?
Mm.
One day my 100 can be this and your 100 can be this, but we're giving it all. We're giving all of the love, all of the attention, all the resources
Mm.
that we have,
Mm.
but it might be different for us.
I think we are talking about exactly same things but in different words,
Yep.
because that's what I mean by saying 50-50. It's not that you're giving only 50 of your efforts. You definitely have to give 100 in order to make this relationship work. Like, don't be scared to fall in love. Don't be scared to be vulnerable. Don't be scared to do stupid things just because you think it's good for your relationship. Like, trust your person you are with, like, 100%, that's for sure. What I mean is, you have to take responsibility of your relationship. You don't have to be, like, there are these kind of girls, like, oh, you have to love me just because who I am. It reminds me of models who say to me, like, you have to love me because just because I'm beautiful. It's not going to work like this. Maybe for other people, yes, not for me for sure. You have to work in your relationship, on your relationship, because it's not stable. It's gonna be volatile. You're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have bad months. You're gonna have good days as well, and it's all about choosing yourself and your partner every time you have a bad day, because it's very easy to choose your partner when it's a good day. It's not easy at all when something bad is happening, but you still want to be with your person and you want to work on this to go through together. Basically, you're doing everything together, but you know that you're a separate person, and if something happens, you're going to be all right. But you choose to go through this way together. That's the main important thing in the relationship.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Because I'm looking for a way to go out of this constant competition in the relationship. It feels like a big part of the anxiety of people nowadays is that you have to compete with all of these people in the world. And then you go back home to your relationship and you have to compete with your partner
Mm.
who's making more, who's better, who's more successful, who's, I don't know, having a better routine, did more in the gym or whatever the case is. But
Hmm.
in my mind, home needs to be a peaceful place where
Exactly.
you can totally relax and you can be
100%.
totally yourself
Mhm.
and you can just take all of the masks that sometimes we wear because we
Exactly.
have to,
Exactly.
and we can recharge. And that's not happening when we're in this competition. So, in order to go out of the competition, you
Mhm.
have to accept and admit that your 50% will be different every day.
Yes.
But if in your head you will set up, okay, I'm doing my best every day, I'm giving my best every day, that might be working.
Yes, it is working. I think this is the only way to the healthy relationship, actually, because if you don't feel safe in your relationship, if you feel competitive, that's not healthy for me, at least. I mean, you have to feel safe. This is the basics of the basics in any relationship, especially with your partner. Because if it's not your safe place, then why you would need it? Like it's better, it's easier to do it by yourself if you don't feel safe with your partner.
You said when you just met your future husband back then, he didn't have anything. He wasn't like rich, successful millionaire guy that your mom predicted you to have.
No, she doesn't like him. She didn't like him.
Yeah,
She likes him. She likes him now. Yes.
great. And you said that you saw the potential. What could be the signs that girls, women can maybe look for in the man in the very beginning of the relationship? What could be the signs that this man can become a great partner, can become a great father, husband, or just, can really give you this unconditional love in a way?
It's gonna sound not logical, but I don't think you have to think a lot once you step into the relationship. Because when I saw my husband, I didn't have this, a lot of criteria in my head, like, okay, he's good in this, he's good in that, blah blah blah. I just felt that there is something in him, and we actually felt it to each other from the very first meeting we had. And I was the one who actually told him, okay, let's date. It was not him. And first he said no, because he was very focused on his business. But it was just for one day. So it was in the morning. In the evening, he called me and said, yes, I miss you. So, yes, so you have to. I don't know. I just felt that it's my person. And I'm really, really happy that I was not wrong. He is my person. And I knew that my parents didn't like him because they wanted obviously someone more like serious for me. But as we see through the time, everything is cool, perfect, and we are a big family who love each other now. And my husband is successful, and he's going to become even more successful. I know that. So yes, it just, when you're falling in love, you don't have to think about the rules, because love has no rules. Honestly, something is working for this couple and something is not working for exactly the same as you would think a couple. So it's all the question of right time, efforts, always putting efforts simultaneously, because if the one partner works and other doesn't work, it's not gonna work at all. And trust the process. Even it's gonna fail. If it's gonna fail at the end, it's gonna be a good experience, because after every relationship changes our minds and our mindset, and maybe you're gonna meet your true love. Of course, not maybe, you will meet your true love in the future. You just have to believe in it. I always knew I'm gonna find my love. I don't know how, but I always knew it's gonna be in my life.
That's why I didn't settle for the millionaire.
Yes.
That's true.
Exactly.
And you said that your parents, your mom specifically, didn't really like your husband in the very beginning. And as I know, the reason might be that he's Russian and you're Ukrainian. And even though when you started to date, there was no open war in Ukraine, but then it started and you both were living in Kiev back then.
Yes.
So as long as you're the first Ukrainian person on this podcast, and the topic of conflicts, wars, and just generally the feeling that our world is on fire, I think more and more people start to share it, this anxiety that whatever is going on with the world is wrong.
Something is happening, yes.
Yeah. Can you just also tell us about this part of your journey, how your anxiety, how your mindset, you as a person who been there right when the war started, what was the situation back then, how it influenced you, your mentality, your mental health, your relationship, and I guess it made you a slightly different person?
Not slightly, but like a total different person, I would say. Uh, One more thing, I think there are two kind of persons that how the war influence on people. There are two kind of persons. Some of them broke themselves and got worse, and some of them overcame their anxiety. I was the one who overcame my anxiety, because I used to have a lot of panic attacks. Panic attacks were my life. But when the war started, we were in Kiev. It was one of the scariest day. It was the scariest day in my life, because when you see the plane on the sky and it's not a normal plane, how do you say it?
Commercial, yeah.
It's not a commercial
military
plane. I was so terrified. I was so stressed. I was so afraid about my life. I really thought that I'm gonna die. And something inside just switched and changed forever since that day. We stayed in Ukraine for 3 days. We ran out from the country, but these 3 days were enough to change my mindset in terms of that I started to really, really realize and cherish the day I live. Because before, we always hear this thing that, you have to appreciate the moment, you have to appreciate every day of your life, but you don't really understand what you are talking about. After the war started, I realized what does it mean to cherish and to appreciate every day of my life. And now, because I it would sound weird, but thanks to the war, I know and I appreciate and I love with all my heart every fucking day of my life. I finally came to this point when I don't run to the future. I'm not drowned in my past. I just live in this exactly right moment. And I really try to, I not really try, I enjoy my exactly right moment, every day of my life. Even on the bad days, I truly appreciate these bad days because now I think and I know that after bad days, good days are coming, and it's always like this. And it's called the circle of life. So for me, for my family, the war actually became that moment, that part that made our lives better. Because, for example, my family now lives in France. My grandparents live in France. And this country gave them a lot of new opportunities. My mother got married for the third time. My sister found the love of her life and he's having the second baby right now. They truly enjoyed this life. Despite that we all have this pain of war in our heart, that's forever, that's our forever trauma, I think, of all Ukrainian people. But I think it has to be a choice to continue to live and to focus not on the bad things that are happening around the world, but focus on yourself and on what you live in and what you have right now, because honestly tomorrow doesn't exist anymore. And when you realize this thought, when you realize that this is true, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You can plan, you can have your plans, you can think that you know, but you don't fucking know. Because when I woke up in Kiev at 4 a.m., I didn't know that it's actually happening. I thought that it's not going to happen, but it happened. And it really changed a lot. So yes, it's war taught me to focus on myself and to be grateful for that I'm alive, because I really thought I'm gonna die. And when a person faces this feeling that you can die like now or in 1 hour, everything changes after. So since then, I didn't have my panic attacks. My anxiety became less, way more impacting my life, just because I realized that I really, really love this life and I'm not gonna waste it on this bad, anxious thoughts, on bad scenarios of my future, etc. I'm gonna build my future, and I'm building my future now and right now, and it has a base of kindness and love, not the base of hate and aggression.
That's
I would
exactly
say,
the question I wanted to ask
yeah,
about hate and aggression, because this is something very natural, very wild of
yes,
us. The first reaction is to actually protect yourself, protect your family, and react with the hate and aggression to the other side, to the oppressor.
mhm.
You moved first to Europe, then to Bali, Indonesia, with the Russian husband.
Yes, my
Yeah.
first Russian husband.
And then later with Ukrainian baby. But um, the question is that we all felt this hate. Me too.
Oh yes, I had this hate in my head. I hated Russians at the beginning, especially, the first year of war was really about hate for me, because you're dreaming about all this shit to stop, but then you're realizing that it's not gonna stop, not today, not tomorrow, not in 1 year probably. And you just understand that your hate doesn't change anything, it just ruins your life. It doesn't ruin the life of people you hate, it ruins your life, because it distracts yourself. it make a great and big and bad impact on your everyday life, because if you do things from your hate and aggression, it never brings joy for you. You're losing this joy. And at some point I just understood that I'm not gonna continue to live like this. My hate doesn't do anything good to me. And at that time I read a really, really good book. Its name is The Choice. It's written by
Edith Egger.
yeah, she's Jewish, and she was in a German captive in the
Camp of Death.
yes, but she chose to love her enemies, love the people who made her hurt and pain. And I think it's a very, very strong and hard decision to do everything in this world from love, from choosing love. Love your enemies, love the people who want to make you feel bad, because that's the only way to feeling free, because it gives you so much freedom freedom and love, to not hate and to not wish other people hate and death. Because there are a lot of, and I understand these Ukrainians, especially those Ukrainians who stay in country. I just cannot imagine how much pain they have, because they live totally different life. They don't have this choice to feel safe. They don't have a safety. This is our base to feel our safety. They don't have it. And of course they have a lot of aggression, because their body, their brain is protecting themselves, as you said. So I totally understand that. But if you have this choice, if you have the choice to love or to hate, always choose love, because I don't know, for me there is no other way. I just, my grandparents were in captive for 40 days at the beginning of war, because they live on the north part of Ukraine. And at the beginning, when they were coming from Belarus, they were in captive. But then I asked my grandmother, do you hate Russians right now? Like, they made you so freaking out, so they terrified you, they almost killed you. And she said, but baby daughter, no, of course I don't hate them. I saw them. It's like 20 years old guys who were forced to do this because they don't even realize what they do. I don't hate all Russians. Why? Your husband is good, because it's not about the nationality, it's about the person. Do you think that all the Ukrainians are good? Do you really think that all Russians are bad? No, I don't think so. There are some certain people who are bad and who are good, and it's never about nationality. Because if we talk about we hate Russians, we become Nazist, as well as all that Russians who say that all Ukrainians are bad. This paradigm that all nationality is bad, it's blowing my mind. It's so not right. It's so not right to think about it, because I always try to treat any person in this world, with kindness first. But then, of course, if someone crosses your borders, you can protect them and you say, okay, you don't have to act like this with me because it's wrong. But it's never, ever about nationality. And what is going on between Ukrainians and Russians now is really, really mind-blowing, hard, bad, and it's just not right. And I really hope that it's gonna end somehow. I know it's not gonna happen tomorrow or even a year. And I know that this hate from Ukrainians to Russians, it's gonna stay with us for a couple of decades for sure. We saw it in the war history before, but it really hurts me when Ukrainians use this propaganda, I would say, phrases that all Russians are bad. The bad Russian, a good Russian is the dead Russian. Oh my God. And my baby is half Russian, and what? I don't think he is bad. And try to tell me that he is bad, I'm gonna pinch you in the face, okay? So yes, it's all about the choosing love and hate, between love and hate. And I always, and I will choose love in any kind of way I can.
And there is a correlation between you choosing love and you having love around you in your life.
Exactly.
The world will mirror you your choices.
Exactly.
If you're choosing hate, your life, your everyday life will be full of pain, will be full of reasons to feel this hate. Same if you're choosing love, the world will give you reasons to feel love. Apparently, you also saw it when you were refugees for some period of time in Europe. You saw how people been helping, how they just got united so fast, and
Yes.
for helping to move children, women from the country to support those who stayed. They choose love.
They choose love and kindness to my husband as well. They knew was Russian, and they really tried to help him as well, no matter that he was Russian, because he was a kind, and he is a kind person, you know. So it really don't change anything to him to be Russian in eyes of these people. So yes, and another important thing that I would love to say, that this world doesn't have to do something for you. You have to do something for yourself. So don't expect this world to be, how do you say it? It's about the victim mindset, you know?
Yeah, victim mentality. Something happened to me, and now I have a right to claim something, to want something, I just to expect things to happen.
Exactly. That's the mindset of a lot of Ukrainians right now. So you have to take responsibility of your life, and the world doesn't need to save you. It's not its responsibility. It's your responsibility to save yourself, your family, and your future, not the world's one. So don't expect him to be kind to you or to give you more things that to give to other people just because you're a victim of the war. There is a lot of wars right now going on the world. It's harsh, it's bad, and we have to accept that it exists and it's not going to end tomorrow, and we have to take care of ourselves and our family in this very not safe world nowadays.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another reason why I choose Bali, because I really feel safe here, and it's my quiet place where nothing bad happens, where I can feel free, and where I know my child is safe. That's the most important to me.
And we do really appreciate this peace
I do.
and safety here. Like, I also have the same. I wake up every morning and look at the blue sky with the planes, and I think, like, it's such a blessing to have a peaceful sky. It's such a blessing to have a peaceful life.
But it was a choice.
It
You
was
choose
it was a choice. It's always a choice.
It's
That's
always
what
a
makes it
choice.
like hard and controversial, because
Yes.
even saying that, for example, the war in my country was a great thing that happened, like it changed my life for best. It is a very controversial thing to say, but I think it also takes lots of courage, lots of
Yes.
thinking, making a harsh decision to step over your nature.
Yes.
And the nature, like the fastest response is hate, the fastest response is protect yourself. But to make this step and really think, do I want to live my life in hate, or do I want to live my life in love? And make decisions accordingly. Just make it your direction.
Yes.
Let it guide you.
Totally agree.
So I look at your child who's half Ukrainian, half Russian. He'll have the whole life ahead, a happy life ahead.
Yes.
And same as him, there will be a future. There will be a future where some people will be choosing love and some people will be choosing hate.
Exactly. I am not gonna teach him to hate people, to hate Russians or any other nationality in this world. For me, it's extremely crazy to hear these thoughts when Ukrainian mothers say that they are teaching their Ukrainian child to hate Russian language and to hate Russians. So this child, this innocent creature that was born like 2 years ago, is growing with the mind that some people some person is wrong or bad just because this person is from particular country. This is it's not going together with my mind. I don't know why they do it. I don't know why they intentionally put so much hate in new creatures. It's not gonna bring them anything good in this world, that's for sure.
Wow. Just to summarize today's conversation, well, generally, there was an experiences that you've been through in your life that shaped you as a person, shaped you as a woman, as a mother right now. I would want maybe to ask you this question that I never asked before. Imagine that you can send a message to your own child and give him the biggest insight that you want him to know from your experience, something that maybe you got this insight, you paid a big price to get it. And you really want to know, you want your child to know it, and you want other people to hear it as well. What would it be?
It's gonna sound a little bit cliche, but it is what it is. And I realized it when I was already an adult, and I want him to know it from the beginning of his life. I would tell him that he can actually do whatever he wants to do in this world. He can do anything in this world because he is raised in love, he is loved, and I believe in him really a lot, and I know he's gonna succeed something big. He's very loved. Everything good is beginning from love. I was and I will stay that romantic person that always says that everything is beginning from love. My friends used to call me a love person, a cat, just because I was always talking about love. But really, all the good things I have and all the good things my baby will have when he grows up, it was starting from love. Love is healing. Love is the most magical things you can ever experience, especially the mother love. A mother love is just another level of any love you have already experienced in your life. So I'm kind of propagandist of motherhood, because the power of love that you have once you have a child, it's insane. It gives you all another level of opportunities and possibilities that you start to actually see once you are a mother.
That's the unconditional love everyone is
Unconditional
talking
love.
about, right?
Yes, I didn't know what it means unless by the time I felt it. Yes, it's mind blowing. It's like I never did drugs. I mean, someday something sometimes I tried, but it didn't. I don't like it. But what I mean is, it just changed your brain hormones in the way that you feel like you
Like you're
have
high.
something. You're high. Yes, exactly. Because the amount of this happiness, joy, love you have for everything in this world is just insane. I cannot count on it.
Then you also said that now you love yourself. I mean, there was a time when you were not that loving to yourself, not
Yes.
that unconditionally loving for sure. And that's something like a skill, like knowledge that we grew and developed throughout years. I work with many people in their 30s, 40s, even almost 50s who actually struggle with the whole concept of self love and be that loving, that compassion to themselves as they do, for example, to their children or to their partners. Do you have a piece of advice for those people? How did you develop the self love, the idea that I do love myself no matter who I am, how I feel, who I have with me, where I live?
I think that if you're already having those questions, and if you already put those questions in your head, that means that you already want to be a better person and you want to love yourself more. So that means at the end of your way, you're gonna love yourself. Maybe it's gonna take more time than you think, but you will. Because trust me, there are a lot of people around who just don't put the right questions. But if you do, and if it's your deep inside goal to be loved, to love yourself more, you will love yourself. Maybe not as fast as you think, but you will. So I would say just keep trying, keep figuring it out, and it's gonna work. At the end of the day, it's gonna work. Everything is gonna work.
I have a really like quick trick or tip for those people, especially who have kids, how to develop this love to yourself. So many people, they're saying like, yeah, I love myself, for example, when I'm successful, when I'm at the peak, when I'm looking beautiful.
Yeah,
when
that was me at the time.
Yeah. But there is a days when I actually can't really force myself to feel this love to myself because I'm failing, because I made a mistake, because whatever. So the trick is, especially for people with kids, it's gonna work perfectly. Imagine that there is your child who's going through the same thing as you're going through. Your child fail as you did. Your child not looking the way he wants to look, not making some mistakes, made a horrible mistakes. Would you love him less? Would you see him less as a person?
Yeah.
Would you change anything?
Exactly. That's a very good example. And I have another example. I had a really, really life changing therapy session 2 years ago. So my therapist asked me, like, imagine you have a friend and she's failing, she's in a bad mood. What would you say to her? And I was like, I would say, don't worry about that. It's going to be all right. You're cool. You know, you're going to get through this. And she was like, okay, you're saying this to your friend. But why? When something bad happens to you, you're saying to yourself that you're failing and you're a piece of shit. And that was the very truth at that moment, because that was that's what the failure meant to me. Every time I failed, I was like, I'm a piece of shit. And that at that moment I realized, oh my god, but really, to other people I say everything's gonna be all right and you're cool and you're gonna get through this, but to me, I'm saying that I'm a piece of shit. And since then I stopped doing this to me. I was the person who was telling myself that it's okay, it's all right, it's not a big deal, you're not gonna die from this, you're gonna be all right, you're gonna get through this. So it's not only about the people who have child. You can imagine your friend, and you always tell to your friend that she's gonna be all right, but that exactly means that you're gonna be all right too. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you're gonna fail and it's very bad.
Yeah, absolutely. And everything that happens to us happening for a reason. It shapes us into the form of people that we have to become in order to bring our value into the world, to serve this world to the greatest extent. So thank you for sharing today what you've been through. Thank you for sharing your mindset, your vision. I've been looking for a role model for, I call it healthy femininity, you know, being feminine without hating everything that's not feminine, you know, still being strong, still being independent, making your own choices, building your own life to how you want it to be, not how someone else want it to be.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for sharing also some painful parts of experience about the war. And we do all pray for peace and we do all believe in
We
peace.
do.
And even if the world around you is not peaceful, well, you can still choose love.
Yes, and
That's
you
the
can
sort of
find
choice.
this peace in yourself, deep
Yeah.
inside of you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Reid.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank all of you for watching us today. I really would appreciate your comments, your feedbacks. It's very valuable for me. Subscribe, ring the bell, put some likes, do whatever you want to do. And wait for the new episodes of the Butterfly Effect podcast. It's going to be very interesting. Thank you and bye-bye.
Terima kasih. Thank you.